Okay, everybody, I'm going to call the Nashville MTA board meeting to order. I am Gail Carr-Williams, board chair for the Nashville Metropolitan Transit Authority, and I appreciate all of you joining this special telephone conference meeting of the MTA board today, April 23rd. Due to the continued COVID-19 pandemic and the continued declaration of a state of emergency by Governor Bill Lee, similar to our March board meeting, we're holding this special limited agenda meeting without objection via teleconference in order to conduct essential MTA business while protecting the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans during this pandemic. This meeting will be held in accordance with Governor Lee's Executive Order number 16 in order to approve February and March board meeting minutes, comply with debt obligation public notice requirements, and to vote on the construction, engineering, and inspection contract for the Nolensville Road project and MTA safety management policy statement. This meeting is necessary and limited to those important agenda items for today's purposes. This meeting will not include committee meetings nor public comments. The first order of business is roll call. This meeting is being recorded, so please speak up and note your presence when I call your name. If you could just call your name and say present, that would be great. Janet Miller.
Present.
Hannah Paramore Breen, Hannah.
Hannah Paramore Breen, present.
Walter Searcy. Glenn Ferner. Okay, we do have a quorum based upon having 3 board members present. Additional attendees, if you could please note your presence when I call your name. Board Secretary and General Counsel, Margaret Bim.
Present.
CEO, Steve Bland.
Present.
CFO, Ed Oliphant.
Ed Oliphant is here.
CAO, Rita Roberts Turner.
Present.
Chief Engineer, Trey Walker.
Present.
Senior Safety Program Manager, Nick Odom.
Present.
Executive Assistant, Monica House.
Present.
Thank you very much. Now that we do have roll call and staff present, first I have on the agenda the approval of the February 27th, 2020 minutes. And there is one adjustment to the February 27th minutes, and that adjustment you will find on page 4 at the very bottom. And it adds, there was no further discussion. The board unanimously voted to approve the recommendation of the Operations and Finance Committee with the addition of giving the board chair authorization in addition to the CEO to sign the lease agreement. And that was absent from the minutes that you received. So if there's a motion for approval, if it could include that addition to the minutes.
This is Hannah. I so move.
This is
Janet. Motion.
I second. Janet Miller.
So there is a motion and second. Is there any further conversation, any further discussion? And that there is no further discussion, if Janet, if you are in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And let's not go Janet or Hannah first. Hannah, if you are in favor, could you please say aye?
Aye.
And I am in favor. Gail. So the motion passes, and we have the February 27th minutes. Also, we had minutes from our last board meeting on March 26th. And to those meetings, I do have one addendum to those as well. I can just pick that up right quick. So to the March 26 meetings, there are a few addendums as well. On page 1 and paragraph 3, at the conclusion of the third paragraph, if included in that, the vote of approval by roll call vote was unanimous. And if moving on the same page, under Operations and Finance Committee report paragraph, just include the information that Chief Financial Officer Ed Alsant reported the following, so it's identified as who presented. And those are the only addendums to the March 26 minutes. If I could have a motion for approval of the minutes with those additions, unless there are other additions.
This is
I'll
Hannah.
make the motion.
Well, I just made it, so you can second it, Janet.
All right. Janet Miller seconds it.
So Hannah Paramore Breen moves for approval and Janet Miller seconds. Is there any further discussion? With no further discussion, all those in favor, Janet Miller, is that a yay?
Yay. Yes.
Yay. And Hannah Paramore Breen, is that a yay?
Yay.
Yay. And Gail Carr Williams is a yay. So the motion carries, and so we have minutes for both February 27th and March 26th. Thank you both very much for approval of those minutes. The next thing on our agenda is the debt obligation notification. If I could call on Ed for that report, it'd be great.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. On page 11 of your pack, you see this is a discussion item, and we do this every year. The comptroller requires public agencies to have some way to notify the public for transparency's sake of any new debt that we enter into. And if you will recall, last month the board approved the new line of credit with Fifth Third at $14 million and with the potential to go to 20 if we need it, with a LIBOR plus 1.65% and a 0.2 or 20 basis point unused fee if we don't use the entire line. So all this is doing is putting into the public process or public notification that we did enter new debt. There's not any action required, and it's just a requirement of the comptroller. And this is for the year starting April 1 of 2020 going through April 1 of 2021 for 1 year.
Well, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions of Ed? I know this piggybacks to the conversation in the action item we had last month. Are there any questions? If there are no questions, Ed, thank you very much for presenting to us. I know we don't have any action to do on it, but this is really critically important information that we not only have to share with the board, but have to share publicly. So thank you for bringing this to us today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next on our agenda is the Nolensville Road information, and the Nolensville Project Construction Engineering Inspection, if I can have Trey Walker present this action item to us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So I just do want to provide just a brief update of our overall progress on the project before I jump into the action item. Back in January, if you'll recall, the board approved a construction contract to SBW Constructors for preparation and construction of 18 upgraded transit stops along Nolensville Pike from downtown to Harding Road. Overall, since this time, we've been finalized our contract with SBW, advancing permitting efforts with both Metro and TDOT, and been able to do it over the last month remotely. We've seen a lot of progress. We received a notification from TDOT of approval of our right-of-way access permit, and that document is with them to finalize and send to us, and we anticipate that within the next week. Coordinating with a start of construction approximately for the week of May 4th, 2020. So shifting back to the action item you have in front of you. So first, with project management and project administration, WeGo staff has engaged with HDR Engineering, who's an on-call engineering firm, who we have under contract for construction, engineering, and inspection efforts related to the Nolensville Pike Transit Stop Improvement Project. These efforts include project coordination meetings, oversight of project reporting, schedule review, permit facilitation, on-site testing, construction inspection, shop drawing, approval processes, pay application, potential change orders, and ultimately project closeout. In addition to that, HDR will be providing a full-time on-site personnel for the duration of construction activities to oversee project administration and be WeGo's eyes in the field over construction efforts. The cost associated with these efforts is $485,400. In line with the contract authorization for construction, staff is recommending a contingency of 25% on this task order, corresponding to a not-to-exceed value of $606,800. The funding for this effort is part of the overall project budget of $6.8 million, which is comprised of local, state, and federal funding sources. It's our recommendation that we request to the board to provide the Chief Executive Officer the authority to enter into a CEI task order under the existing contract with HDR Engineering for a not-to-exceed value of $606,800.
Well, thank you, Mr. Walker. Are there any questions? Any comments? Hearing no questions, is there a motion?
So moved. Janet Miller.
So Janet Miller moves. Is there a second?
Second, Hannah Paramore.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? With there being a motion and a second, I will put this to vote. Janet Miller, are you a yay or nay for this motion?
Yay.
Hannah Paramore Breen, are you a yay or a nay or abstention for this motion?
So many choices. I'm a yay.
So many choices, I know. It's like three big choices, right? You know. So we have 2 yays. I am a yay. So we have 3 yays. So the motion carries. Therefore, we do have the Nolensville project construction engineering inspection all ready to go. So good job, Mr. Walker. Thank you for presenting this to us today, and we're excited to get this project underway and furthering it along. So thank you very much. Okay, so the safety management policy statement. Rita Roberts-Turner and Nick Oldham. You're up.
Ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So many months are starting to blur together, but
they really are, aren't they?
They are. I do believe, though, a few months ago we did inform the board that the FTA is requiring public transportation systems that receive federal funding to develop and submit a safety management system plan by July 20th, 2020. I know Nick Oldham, we had hired him at that time as our senior safety program manager, and he got a chance to at least wave at everybody on the board, but I was hoping to be able to introduce him formally. He is here in the room with us today, jumping in head first into a lot of other issues, but he has been working diligently with me and our consultant, Reem Lazaro, to complete that safety management system plan within the deadline. As we move toward finalizing the plan, however, the FTA is also requiring agencies to adopt a safety management policy statement, and that's what you have before you today. The purpose of the statement is to really lay the foundation for our principles around safety, specifically the safety of our customers, employees, and staff, so that we won't just have a plan on paper, but that we'll actually begin to develop a culture around safety. I won't read the entire statement again that you have in your packet, but it basically commits us to working to ensure, and maybe someone else just jumped on. Maybe. I'll keep going. But again, just to ensure that our executive management team will promote and lead this safety culture we're trying to develop. So basically with the statement, we're saying we will have an effective communication and training tools. We'll hold all levels of, hello? We'll hold all levels of management. Okay. We'll hold all levels of management responsible for a safe environment. We expect employees and our contractors to support our safety efforts. We'll have an effective employee reporting system for safety concerns, and then we'll also be committed to regularly reviewing our safety program. So again, those are the core principles of our safety management policy statement, and we are asking that this board approve and adopt this policy statement, which will ultimately be incorporated into our larger plan that we'll be bringing before this board either next month or June. Can we all try to see what our meetings are going to look like in the next month or so? And with that, I'll be happy to try to answer any questions, or again, I do have Nick here as well.
Prior to us moving into asking questions, Mr. Searcy, did Mr. Searcy join the call? I heard a beep come in. I wanted to make certain if he was on the line or not. I don't hear his voice, so so back to Rita. Does anyone have any questions about the safety plan? If there are no questions, is there a motion?
Janet Miller, I move adoption of the safety management policy statement as presented.
And do I hear a second?
This is Hannah, and I second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, it is now time for us to vote. Janet Miller, how do you vote?
Yay.
Yay. Hannah Paramore-Breen, how do you vote?
Yay.
Yay. Gail Carr-Williams votes yay as well. So we have a new policy. Thank you all very much for your hard work, and thanks for all of your compliance and your great work with the FTA.
Thank you.
We have no more action items. I will remind you that in your board packet, there's a statement of operations. I would ask everyone to take a moment and review those things that we typically review in our committee meetings. And if you do have any questions about those things, that you reach back in to the staff members responsible for those reports. And I appreciate that. I do have one more thing, two more things. One, Jessica Dolphin, President and CEO of Transit Alliance. She may be on the line and may not be on the line. Just want to say thank you to her and Transit Alliance and Transit Now for raising dollars to be able to provide lunch for our operators and other staff at WeGo Public Transit Nashville MTA during this time, to thank them for their extraordinary and heroic efforts as we go forward through this pandemic. So I just want to make sure I took just a quick moment and said thank you to Transit Alliance for their work and for doing this for MTA. Additionally, I believe that this is essential. I received a letter today and want to read it to you all. Dear Chair Carr-Williams, with deep appreciation for your leadership of WeGo Public Transit and service to our city, please accept my resignation from the board effective at the conclusion of today's board meeting. I have nothing but pride in the work of this board, executive management team, and especially the transportation workers who serve our riders with such courage and dedication. Being part of this board has been a tremendous experience that has given me so much perspective and confidence in the work and future of Nashville's public transportation system. I want to thank you and my fellow board members for your help and guidance over the past 2+ years. Our collective work has greatly expanded the Access Ride program for elderly and disabled riders, added new buses to give better service to our neighborhoods, and made our service more inviting to all Nashvillians by adopting the WeGo brand. Most importantly, our board's work and your leadership have encouraged public transparency and deepened inclusion of the community. Anyone who has attended or watched our board meetings will surely share my confidence that our transportation resources are reaching all who depend on them most. When riders and employees of WeGo Public Transit have shared their experiences and knowledge, we have sincerely included them in our decisions, big and small. This transparency and inclusion are MTA's greatest strengths, and I know you will continue to foster it in my absence. If I may ever be of assistance to you or the agency in any way, please contact. Sincerely, Glenn Farner, Junior Board Member. And if we will miss Glenn. Glenn has been a great board member, very thoughtful, very kind, and has certainly helped as a board member guide us through many tasks that we have done here at MTA and WeGo. So if that can be certainly part of the record for today's meeting. With that, if there's nothing further from anyone, is there anything further? Hearing nothing further, I will see if I can have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
And that was Ms. Perry and Ms. Miller. Is there a second?
Yes, there is. There is a second.
There's a second, and so I assume all those in favor should say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, and we are adjourned. Thank you all so much. Everyone stay healthy and take care of one another. And again, to our drivers and our operators and our staff, you all are extraordinary. And thank you for all of your extraordinary work every day for all people. Thank you so much. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dale. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.